Hello, how are you doing this fine Monday evening? Let's get in here and pray. Don't forget to look down in the description to see what time to pray in, so you can go ahead and fast forward to what you want to fast forward to, okay? Just in case you want to. I suggest you listen, because it's good stuff. It gets you suited and booted. Thank you, God, for being Jehovah Nissi, the God of the banner. You place a hedge of protection in front of me, behind me, and on top of me. You keep me safe by any means necessary. Psalms 91, you place me underneath your mighty wing, and nothing shall by any means harm me. No evil will befall me, neither will any plague come by my dwelling. 1,000 may fall at my left-hand side, and 10,000 at my right, but it shall not come near me. No weapon formed against me will prosper. It will form, but I have the breakthrough formula from Jesus, Thoth, and Arumala. Why all three? Because God said he called everybody to the table. He ain't tell nobody to sit down. Humans put rules and regulations. God didn't have any. He just said, love yourself, love others, and let's go. And I walk in it instead of fussing about what it looks like, just saying, okay. If you hear any noise, they're doing some maintenance in the back. Okay. Jehovah Shalom, the God of peace, the peace that passes all understanding. Philippians 4. Think on these things that are good and of a good report. And if I keep my mind stayed on you, you will keep me in perfect peace. No, it don't make sense. But it makes faith, because what I have faith in, I'm going to believe. And what I believe, I'm going to act on. And what I act on, I'm going to see happen in the spirit realm before it happens in this realm. You hear what I'm saying? That's how it works. Jehovah Sabaoth, the God of hosts. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You are me and I am you. You place a small allspark in my heart before I even enter my mother's womb. Let's go there. God told Jeremiah in chapter 1, verse 5. He said, I knew thee before you entered your mother's womb. If God said it to one, he'll say it to all. God is not a respecter of person. God ain't like man. Man will sit here and tell you stuff and then double over and do something else outside of what he said. God didn't say that. Once he said to you, he said to me, and it belongs to everybody. So God is not an aspect of love. God is love. So God takes an aspect of love and places it in our heart. Then it's up to us how we see it. It could be a foot, it could be 40 feet, it could be 100, it could be 400 feet, it could be 1,000, 2,000 feet, but it's based on how we use it. Ephesians 3:20, God will do exceedingly abundantly above all we should ask or think, according to how it works in us. How do we believe it? Is how we gonna see it. Okay. So don't get upset and envious or jealous if you see somebody else over here shining. Shining, 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 yeah. You see them over here shining. Don't get upset. I think that's Beyonce. Don't get upset. That means you need to flame on with yours. Flame on. I forget which superhero that was. Jehovah Elohim, the God of gods. We made all this stuff to put between us and God. We made these religions, these people, and all this stuff. God said, look, I don't have no issue with it because I gave you the idea for it. He said, but don't you want to come to the Creator before you go to the creation? Because the creation could lie to you, hoodwink you, BS you, lie to you, and have you believing something that ain't even true. Okay. How about you have that one-on-one relationship with God? Because God sent Elijah to a certain brook. Then when that brook dried up, God sent him to another brook. And when that brook dried up, God sent him to another brook. That means Elijah didn't have just one brook. So when they tell you to quit church hopping, they trying to control you. You looking for the place where God has asked you to go. You keep doing what God asked you to do. And while they trying to control you and they saying the thing to you, ask them to check with God. Because if God sent Elijah to all them brooks, God will send you where you need to be. And you get a chance to test it out before you find out where you're going to be. Because ain't no sense in being somewhere and somebody is controlling everybody in the congregation. Okay? I ain't being ugly, I ain't being mean. But if God took Elijah around the world, he could take us all. And Elijah ain't the only one. He took Abraham to certain places. If he took all these leaders that was in the Bible that we say that we believe, How you controlling people? That needs to stop. Okay. Do your business and people will leave. Stay in your connection to God. Jehovah El Shaddai, the Most High God. Your name is higher than any name that is named on this earth and the universe. If it can be congregated in a sentence and a punctuation put at the end of that sentence, God is higher than that. And then if I think of something or you think of something, we try to tell each other, guess what? It's going to be in a sentence. It's going to be in a paragraph. Guess what? Paragraph has sentences and punctuation. Done deal. Straight up done. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. There is no lack. There's only provision. You're more than enough and you supply all I need. It's just, it may not look the way I thought it was going to look. So I get a chance to change my perspective. I'm worthy because I exist and I exist because I'm worthy. There's nothing that you will ever withhold from me. You are my source, not the things on the outside of me. God will use people on this earth to bless me. See, wealth comes from the north. As above, so below. Not from the east, west, and the south. It will always be supplied supernaturally if I believe it. It's based on my frequency and my energy, which is key. If God is here and I'm over here, God said, come to me as you are. I get up and I come to God. Let me tell you, every time you get up and you go to somebody, you're changing your perspective like you do when you come to God. Make sure that person is completely worth your perspective change. Jehovah Rapha, my healer. You heal my mind, my soul, my body, and my spirit. You heal so much of me. I went on a nice trek today to do some exercise, and it was wonderful. Ooh, and I made sure I did lots of stretching, so I won't be on the morning bench. Okay. Jehovah Gamola, the God of the recompense. No getting even with people, arguing with them. Just send all that negative energy up to the Creator to be cleansed and purified. Why? Because you know what they did. They know what they did. And send that energy back to the sender, cleansed and purified. No blocking their path, no stopping their path. No matter what they done, cause and effect, and sowing and reaping, and corresponding action is in place. Meaning everything we say, do, and think is a seed. And it turns into trees, good or bad. I live under the law of assumption that is already worked out. And I don't have to stress about it. Everything doesn't require my response or my fight. I choose my battles properly, and I leave it in God's hands. Ain't no fussing or no stressing me out. It's so to be, it's smart to be, and forevermore. What I'm not finna do is be sitting here wasting my voice, fussing with somebody who ain't listening to me anyway. How about that? Woo! Look in the description below to see a few items just for you. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. Because see, we get it kind of misconstrued and screwed up. We think intimacy is one-on-one, all this laying on top of each other and hunching. Real intimacy is getting the presence of God, whoever you call God, because God has so many names, and actually finding out who you really are at your core. So while we fighting over who's the best God and everything, no such thing. God is God, however you see it. Page 73. I'll never let you down. I'm going to surprise you like I've never done before. People are going to wish they would have handled you as I handled you. Stay in my presence and see where I'll take you in me. Trust me. Come on here now. I receive that. Okay. My other two books are Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change. Both of those books are shadow activity books. Why? I didn't see any. I seen a lot of shadow a lot of shadow workbooks, but none that allow my inner teenager and my inner child have a good time. God said, well, make it. I said, well, say less. So you get a word of knowledge. Then you get an exercise. You're going to get some hunts. You get at least 3 hunts in the book. I don't know exactly what chapters they are, but you get to have a good time. And then you get a shadow question. Not so nice. And then you get a color page. God asked me to keep that color page between the ages of 5 and 10. Why? Because most childhood wounding happens between the age of 5 and 10. By the age of 7, it is solidified in the system. Now, it can happen after 10, but most of it happens then. And then by the age of 10, it is really in your system because most of the people that were supposed to protect us between the age of 5 and 10 didn't know how to protect us. Their their instinct, their animal instinct wasn't cut on, and I don't judge them. They did the best they could. Because they were injured and they didn't have a bandwidth. Okay. And then when you turn 21 and 25, it is your responsibility to find ways to heal. 10 on the clock. To find ways to heal, because it is now your responsibility. Because between 21 and 25, we think we know everything, so nobody can tell us anything. I know from my experience and raising children. Okay. And then you get 4 pages of drawing, doodling, sketching, whatever you want to do. Why? Because the closer you get to God, you start having those Stranger Things, those X-Files, those Doctor Who, and those Twilight Zone moments to where you know that you know that you know you just saw something. And if you try to explain it to people, we're in the era of AI, and they're going to think you did it yourself. They're going to think you came up with it on AI instead of having just a one-on-one relationship with God. They're just going to negate it. Because God is always doing something amazing. Always. If you're willing to pay attention. As the song from Color Purple, God is trying to tell you something. Okay. Don't forget about my books already on the New York Times bestseller list. Influence and Impact with Chris Voss. And Mindset Matters with Jack Canfield. Okay, you can pick them up anywhere books are sold. God don't care nothing about your background. Child, God know everything about you. God know where you been, where you going, what's next. God don't judge none of that stuff. Man do. God don't need to know none of that. He know every hair on your head, and if you don't have any hair, he know all the peach fuzz. Notebooks and journals for all, coloring books to help in meditating and recalibrating the mind. You'll see the link to the podcast with the Women's Leveling Up in May. It was fun being there. And you'll see magazines I was covered in September, October, December, and January. Okay, I placed my own personal link to my own bookstore. I'm excited about this venture. Why? I have a catalog on Amazon. Okay, look me up. However, on my special store, my special store shows you how to fight the deepest, darkest things that walk this earth. That if you have never seen it, you will never know what I'm talking about. That stuff I'm talking about, them Thanoses that walk the earth and they look like human form and you fussing with them and it seems like you having the biggest arguments. When you see it for yourself, you know what I'm talking about. There are some freebies there just for you. I added a link to 105 spiritual laws. There's only 7 in the initiate book. They was hoping that you would stop and you wouldn't do any further looking. I don't stop just one thing. I keep looking because I ask questions. And because I ask questions, God say, look here, look there, and I did. And I come to find out there's 105 spiritual laws. Okay. Pause. Even though it's 105 spiritual laws, we are no longer underneath the spiritual law. We're no longer underneath the laws, the Mosaic law. We are under love and grace. When Jesus came, you could say whether Jesus was an archetype. You could say he was a prophet. You could say whatever you like. One thing that I know is when I say Jesus' name, everybody act a nut out here in these streets. I mean, they act a full out, start showing out, spit squirting up at the corners, and just, I'm just woo, you foaming up. You ready to shake the table. Ain't nobody scared of you. Well, you must not know who I am. I'm Sam Sneed in the spirit realm, baby. So then, because Jesus gave us love and grace, okay? First of all, Judas betrayed Jesus. So first of all, you put up a boundary. Once Judas betrayed Jesus, do you see him anymore? Mm-mm. Yeah, he took himself out, but do you see him anymore? Mm-mm. So quit believing the church and go ahead and get rid of the Judas. Because every level, you're going to get another Judas. Don't make no sense to be piling up all these Judases to be stabbing you in the back. Get rid of them because you're going to always have a new one. Okay? It's just how the party goes. So go ahead and put up a boundary. Don't look over this fence, Mr. Wilson, because you don't like me. And then the disciples asked Jesus, how many times do I forgive my brother? 7 times. Jesus said no, 7 times 7. So that's 490 times. And because we grow in a cyclical manner and we keep going up in like this, every time that we go up, we're going to hit it this side, this side, this side, this side, this side. Okay. It seems like you're having the same thing, but whatever you came in here with is what you're going to see. Okay. You're going to see it. And that's a whole bunch of things we came in here with. So you never know which one is going to show up. So don't try to hold on tight, because that's when you Release the reins and let God do what God is going to do. Whoever you call God. God has many names. Okay, honey. So then Jesus broke it down. He said, like the Lord's Prayer, forgive me of my debts as I forgive my debtors. Okay, so break it down. You put up the boundary, boom. How you love the unlovable? We already got it. Okay, I forgive them 490 times for the same indiscretion, but check this out. I forgive myself first 490 times for the same indiscretion because I didn't know. You know what? I did not know that this was going on in my life. I had watched all the elders in my life do the same thing over and over. So I thought this was what I was supposed to do. So I did it. Now I find out that is not the path. I forgive them that hurt me. You know why I forgive them? Because they didn't know no better. They was in survival mode. And when we're in survival mode, we hurt people and we don't realize it. So I'm going to release them because I was also in survival mode. And now I know better. I release them. I'm not releasing them for them. I'm releasing them for me. Because if I don't release myself from that tether of them, this is what happens. I don't move. And I'm stuck in quicksand or I'm stuck in cement. And that means I can't go any further until I release that hate in my heart. Because then the system or whoever is behind me can get a hold of me. And now I am in the darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. And I can't move until I let myself go and let them go. And it's never for them. It's for me to be able to keep trekking on my path. Woo! And just like, and then there's grace. Grace is God's willingness to get involved with human affairs. That means God will pick you up out of whatever situation you in, no matter who you call God, okay? Because I told God, I said, look, if I get down here and I'm in this secret mission I don't forgot I'm in, and I'm on deep cover, I'm going to need you to come and get me if things go haywire. God said, I am say less because I don't put too much in you. Just like we have the 10 commandments. It's really 613 commandments. And if you want to see them all, go ahead and get the copy of the Torah, the Tanakh or the Chumash. The Tanakh is the whole Old Testament from Genesis through Malachi. The Chumash is Genesis through Deuteronomy. Okay? So you choose which one you want to get. You can go anywhere, and I'm pretty sure, 1717 on the clock, I'm pretty sure people will be ready to take your money and go ahead and do it, okay? So God told the Israelites, there's no way possible that you can keep 613 laws every day for the rest of your life without me. They said, yes, we can, us and our children. So I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, I didn't ask for this. But you put me in the middle of something that I didn't ask for. This was all the way back in Egypt. So then they did it again the 5th time. They did it a whole bunch of times, but this was the 5th time. So then the king said, who do you want to release? Jesus or Barabbas? They said Barabbas. Barabbas was a serial killer. But they said they wanted to release Barabbas. So the king said, well, I wash my hands of this. I don't have nothing to do with this. And then they said, well, put it on us and our children. Wait a minute. I didn't ask for this. But see, the wonderful thing is Jesus took care of it. But then the thing is, 180 AD and 200 AD, Lord Henry with the Catholic Church removed 54 books out of the Bible, and that we call the Apocrypha. They removed those out of the Bible. I'll show you what I'm talking about so you can see it for yourself, so you can get you a copy to mess your mind up. They moved 54 books out of the Bible. We call them the Apocrypha. And once you sit here and read these things, man, you realize why the Bible got so many holes in it and why it's got so many missing parts, and it don't have the character development. You wanted to know what was going on, so I know so much more about Esther. I know so much more about Daniel. I know so much more about Dot and Thomas. They didn't tell me enough. Now I know the deal. Don't tell me half the story. I know so much more about Mary Magdalene. And it's funny, they keep saying that she had all them spirits taken out of her, but there's nobody talking about how many spirits Peter had taken out of him. Or how many spirits Paul had taken out of him. It's like they're trying to defame the divine feminine, but they, you know what I'm saying, that patriarchal. That's all I'm going to say right there. To pay attention to it, okay? Because see, we know everything, but we don't know anything. This keeps us from attachments as we go through each level and lesson, because that was taught to me by Jesus, Thoth, and Ishu. That is by everybody. Jesus is ancient, Thoth is new school, Ishu is the Orishas with Ifa. Okay, and Ubuntu. Let's talk about it. When I ran into Ishu, I didn't know what to think because I heard so many things about it. But as long as you listen, you won't be slipping. Okay. The Adjective PDF along with your 400 values PDF to put them together and change your whole Sims character. This janky promoter gang. So let's talk about it. This whole earth ain't nothing but a big Sims game, and you get to change your character. You can change your whole character development, because I did. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter and the juicy updates and upcoming events. Don't forget to look at the school app. I'm just getting started, so get on Facebook. I would love to see you in the place. I was inducted into the new class of Who's Who, the influential women of 2025, and women's worldwide. God was giving me stuff at the end of 2025, and I said I'm receiving it because I'm worthy of it all, because I've done some heavy lifting, yes, and I'm taking it. And look what I received in 2017. Okay, from Who's Who worldwide. Okay, I was doing so much work with my nonprofit. I was bringing women and teenage girls out of sex trafficking. I had a lot of help. But then all of a sudden they left me to go help someone else with a bigger name that was doing the same thing that I was doing. God said, let it go, keep moving. I said, say less. Then I was helping out young girls that came out and said they were LGBTQAI or pregnant, and their families kicked them out. I said, we in the wrong state for that. I'm taking too many children out the street. They were talking about what? I said, don't worry about it. So I let them stay wherever I was at, in the building I was at. I went ahead and took them to the teen center where they could get all the therapy and everything they needed all under one roof. They were taken care of. Then I was helping domestic violence victims. Okay, we lost 2. Because they went back more than once. We took their phones. We did everything to make sure that they were safe. But we still lost them because they knew how to get back to the place. And everybody's addicted to something. We got people that's addicted to cigarettes, and they coughing some of their lungs coming out, but they still smoking. We have people that's addicted to weed, and they go to the emergency room, and they have the issue from smoking so much weed, and then they relax, and they come home from the emergency room, and they smoking weed. We have people going to the gym 3-5 times a day. We have people working out 4 or 5 times a day. So everybody's addicted to something, so I don't judge nobody, because if I judge them, I got to judge me. God is faithful, and let me tell you, and then I was helping, okay, so I helped them people. Then I was helping people that lost everything in fires and floods. And because I had a nonprofit, people was always giving me stuff. So I had a whole bunch of stuff. So I went ahead and put it in the storage unit. And so all of a sudden we started having all these crazy fires, houses and apartment fires. So then I had all this stuff. And so people was coming from different states too, because they heard about me because I was on social media. And so they would come, and I said, how many rooms you need? They told me, and I would say, only get what you need because other people are coming. And then I would give them toiletry bags, and I would give them fingernail polish and fingernail polish remover. There was a secret behind that one, I'm going to tell you in a minute. Then I would give the women the feminine bag. But the reason behind the fingernail polish is when they come down, they were going to need to rest. And so in order to paint your nails, you got to relax. I mean, really relax, so it's going to be all over your fingers. So it's a way to get them to come out of shock mode to be able to take care of themselves and do self-care. There's a whole reason behind that. Then I learned that from myself being homeless when I got out of the military. And then also I helped out this young lady for Thanksgiving because I was putting on social media that I wanted to help out 2 families for Thanksgiving. Only one reached out, so that's what I did. I went to honey baked ham. Because that was my go-to on my budget. And then I bought $150 worth of groceries and delivered it. And then I found out about other families that needed help. So then I put their names in a bowl, pulled it out. And then I also went to honey baked ham, because that's my go-to. Okay, that's my budget. And then I gave them $150 worth of groceries. And then I helped 2 women to go to therapy for 3 to 6 months. Okay. And then I gave them $250 or $150 worth of groceries. You would have to look on my website at Refuge Women's Transition Center. That is www.rwt as in Tom, C as in Charlie.org. Okay. God is grateful. He is faithful, and I'm thankful for it all. Don't forget to look at the link to receive 25% off your first order. This is the company I use along with All Natural Remedies for the assistance for the diagnosis of breast cancer in 2017. I didn't take any cancer treatments. They told me I had 6 months to live. And I said, the devil is a lie. I'm not going nowhere. They said, don't you see it? I said, I see it. But see, the thing is, people see it and they say, oh my God, I got it. Then they tell everybody, and then they be moaning it, and then everybody start putting them in the ground. Sometimes it's best to keep that to yourself, okay? So I kept it to myself. I said, if I go, I go. It is what it is. I said, but I know God got me. So, honey, I told him, I said, I bind up every I said, I am the healer, protecting my health from sickness and disease. I told him, I said, I bind up every disease, every germ, every bacteria, every growth, every tumor, every parasite, and I send it back to the pit of hell from whence it came, because hell ain't nothing but a frequency. And I said, I loose the blood of Jesus in the hand of God. And I said, I take full responsibility for myself because I ate that food. Yes, they poisoned the food, but I didn't know that. I didn't look at the back of the daggone thing. I did that to myself. And then I said, and they said, so what you doing? I said, I'm putting my order in. So, when I come back with my testimony and did, you know what happened. So I went home, talked to God. God said, go ahead and get your naturopathic doctor. Did that. Put on everything that Dr. Sebi ever said about being alkaline because it's important. Showed it to my naturopathic doctor because now we a team. And I showed it to my naturopathic doctor. My naturopathic doctor said, boom, gotcha. So then they said, okay, 5 things on each side got to come off. I said, well, that's fine. I got 145 things in the still. Then my ancestor said, go out there, get that dandelion, get that morning glory, because morning glory can be, okay, just in case things get hard and you don't have the money for your weed. I'm just saying, go out there and dry it up. And then that, wild scallions, child, let me tell you. Honey, pull that up, because my ancestor said it ain't nothing but scallions. And I said, it smells like onions. They said, because it is onions. Honey, our ancestors lived off the land, and if they made it, we can make it too. Then that post salad looked like lettuce and cilantro had a baby together and just serrated around the edges. Say I didn't, but I did. Honey, I put that on top of my spinach underneath that jasmine rice. That jasmine rice was hot and it wilted everything, but it kept that chlorophyll in place and it went in and healed my body. Say it didn't, but it did, and I'm thankful for it all. Okay, let's keep it going. I put seafood on the top because, honey, I needed omega-3s, and then I was adding zucchini, squash, and red onions. Those are cancer-fighting agents, just in case you want to know. And then I was adding red, orange, and yellow bell peppers. Child, look, when you're trying to stay here, you do what you need to do. Honey, then I found out that avocado and wild-caught salmon has vitamin D. Child, I quit taking them vitamins they was giving me because my nails, they got so weak, honey. I said I'm going to have to stick to the food. Okay. Honey, I'm so glad to still be here because I could have been gone, but thank you, God. Excuse me, confirmation mirror. Psalms 91, 1-6 NLT. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge and is my place of safety and is. He is my God. No shame. And God can be called he or she because there's no sex in the spirit realm. And I trust him. For he will rescue me from every trap and protect me from every deadly disease. He will cover me with his feathers and shelter me with his mighty wings. He is faithful to his promises. Let me tell you something about God's promises. God's promises are yes and amen every day of the week. But God will put us on pause. You know why God will put us on pause? There'll be something set up. There'll be some people set up. First they were gossiping and backbiting, doing all this stuff, and we didn't know nothing about it. We just smiling and grinning. Don't even know what's going on behind our back. 28 on the clock. Don't even know what's going on behind our back. And then we go on down the street, and then God say, I'm gonna keep you from going that way. I'm gonna give you a spiritual machete, and I'm gonna send you this way. And I'm like, what the spiritual machete for? He said, ain't nobody never been that way before. You the first one. I'm like, what? What you doing? He said, you gotta, once you cut down the path, other people are gonna follow. So it's important to stay in contact with me because other people are gonna follow this path. And even though that you're cutting off the way for them, they still have to listen to me because I may direct their path somewhere else and I may give them a spiritual machete. I said, well, say less. And every time I say less, I've been looking at God like this, like, really, dude? My armor and my protection, I'm not afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the bullets that fly at day. I do not dread the disease that stalks at darkness. Why? David told us in Psalm 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, my rod and staff. Who knew my spine and shoulder to shoulder was my cross? Jesus said, pick up your cross daily and follow me. You can't walk without that. Okay. Honey, and then it says, my cup runneth over. That's abundance in every area of my life. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Complete peace and wholeness. And then it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And then Isaiah 53 says, God will send the angels to go before me to set asunder and make the crooked places straight. And God is always my rear guide. Why? God is always the rear guide, making sure we receive goodness and mercy and don't nobody roll up on our sticks to sneak up on us from behind. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I am the house of the Lord. God lives inside this vessel. God is looking out my eyes to see the goodness of what's going on in the world through my eyes. Okay. Nor the disaster that strikes at midday. So let's give him something to talk about. Let's give him something to talk about. I want to say thank you to all who view my videos. I want to say thank you so much. And say thank you for the subscribers, for your energy, for how you come and you share and you come to listen to the message. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I thank you so much. Whew, I'm so grateful for you. I send you nothing but kisses and love. Mwah. Hand over heart for the affirmation. I am not society's script. I am my own definition. I am not of this system, but a flame from God, source, the divine. I don't stress about what I can't physically fix. I let go of that attachment. I monitor the use of my own energy. If you don't monitor the use of your own energy, somebody will say, let me get that off you right there. Because we got a lot of scammers out here in these streets. Okay. Just saying. I woke up, and sometimes it could be your own family. It be your own people. Okay. I woke up at 3:27 a.m. That don't mean no harm. It's just a survival. It was hard to stay up. I had just spent time with God, and I had just fell asleep at 1:30 a.m. Just talking and meditating and being in the holy presence with no interruptions. When I say it was lit, I felt like my body was lifting up off the bed by the time I went to sleep. I just felt like my body was like something had me on a conveyor belt. It was so beautiful. I tried to stay up, but my body said, we don't have the juice, partner. I prayed in tongues as I fell back asleep. I said, I'm gonna give these tongues. I woke up refreshed for my day and ready to go. Things just felt different. I can't explain it, but it just felt different today. I'm ready for anything, and I know it's for my good and growth. It may not all be perfect, but I've learned so much lately that I know I can handle it all. I really didn't realize how much of myself was going to others instead of building my dreams. It's not bad, but when others show you that it's your job and your duty to take care of them and forget about you, that's a huge problem. No one is higher in my life than me and God. I deserve all of me and my own attention. I love you all for showing me who I am. Whew, at the being of my core. Today's Bible reading was Ecclesiastes 2. We've all chosen what we want without a spiritual backing. We took the spiritual life, like God and whoever you want to call God, out of church. There's no accountability for the leaders. That needs to change. That leaves us down dark roads. Not good at all. Once we see the truth and how we've been in cruise mode and not paying attention to what we say we really want, we can change that. The Quran 57:20 warns that worldly life is like a play and a temporary illusion. It doesn't last, but what you do leaves a mark on history. In Ifa, Ofun Maya highlights that true fulfillment and lasting success comes from aligning my destiny with spiritual wisdom. Uwe Pele, rather than material accumulation, which can be fleeting and vanity. Asan is alignment with one's personal ado to ensure that the work of one's hands is prosperous and meaningful. You see all of that sounded the same? Ain't nothing different. That leads me to think that they done changed this world so many times and they done had so many start over that I really truly believe I truly believe that each time they started the world over, it was the same, but they changed the spiritual practices. That's just my thought. I don't have complete truth on that, but something's up with that. Plus, a lot of the stuff that the Bible says is connected to Ifa and African teaching that leads me to think that what we're doing is African teaching. Okay, the symptoms, my whole body was vibrating like I was floating on a conveyor belt, and I couldn't see the conveyor belt, but I felt it. I had vivid dreams that I could actually touch. I'm seeing what's mine and what's others. So they're responsible for whatever they're going through to find out their way on their own. I'm not, I'm done running in to save others from the mess they made. I'm using my energy for me. I had put everyone in front of me and I didn't take care of myself like I am now. To the point people were telling me it was my responsibility to take care of family and friends, like paying all their bills and mine, while they saved their money or lying saying they didn't have any money. I'm taking all that power back from me so you can have the life you had when I was there. You didn't see me or respect me, so I removed myself. Listen, I'm not mad at you. I'm just giving you what you truly wanted. You wanted freedom, and now you have it. In 2018, I had just beat cancer. Never celebrated. Went through divorce because I was so busy taking care of everybody else, running in to save everybody else, that I never took the chance to celebrate myself, but I'm going to celebrate myself. And then I went through a divorce. Ended up homeless outside of my choice. That wasn't my choice. But long story short, my ex-husband had called the police on me, and the police had guns. They was getting ready to shoot me point blank. However, one of the police officers remembered me because I worked at a national training center where I was at, and they recognized me from being at the training center, and they stopped. And they said, "We know you." And they said, "Get out of here and don't look back because that person lied on you." And I said, "I wasn't even here." There it is. And I ended up, okay, that was outside of my choice. I stayed with people who treated me like they couldn't even see me and took from me. I was doing my best to stay in love. I was fighting to stay here. I was fighting cancer and nobody knew because I didn't tell nobody. Then I moved out to stay with someone else who did the same thing. Then I rented a house and they tried to sell the house from underneath me, and then I bought my dream house, as I thought. It was 5 bedrooms, 4 bath. Oh, I worked hard to get that house for me and my family, and then everything changed because people got jealous that I was in that house, but they didn't know what I did to get into that house. I worked my butt off. When I say I worked my butt off, I worked my butt off for that. Everything changed in 2022 to 2025, and my life has been constantly changing ever since. I never had a chance, like I said, to celebrate being cancer free. I am. And people who I thought would celebrate me, my birthday didn't. That hurt because I was there for them. And I'm just going to be celebrating me, myself, and I. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going after my dreams instead of waiting on someone to say I'm worthy. I am worthy, and I see all my worthiness. So if you don't see me, suck a toe, because I'm going. And I'll let the chips fall where they may as I live my best life that I sacrificed to bring life into the world. I sacrificed my military career, just left to raise. Am I mad? No. Because anytime that you give love to anyone, it is not a wasted thing. I love you so much, but the love for me is even stronger. I'm going to live for all of me with nothing to be concerned about but me for the moment. Don't forget about my event, 2/26/26, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be on a podcast tomorrow night. I'm so excited. I will send out the info so you can watch it because it will be live. I'm excited. Everyone gets the opportunity to do their own work and wake up in their own timing. It's hard when you love folks, but in their own timing. Keep going. They get the opportunity to decide just like you did. Don't carry nobody else's burden or fight for them. Read Philippians 2 and 12 for yourself. Keep going. You let them figure this out. They grown. They know everything. You let them figure it out. They are not your responsibility. James 1:19-21 NLT. Don't allow anyone to take your power or your energy, because they will, and they will act like it's your responsibility. You are responsible for me, myself, and I. You look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm responsible for me, myself, and I. My dear brothers and sisters, we must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Human anger doesn't produce the righteousness God desires, so get rid of all the negative thinking. Humbly accept the word that God has planted in our hearts. For it has the power to save our soul. I don't know what God told you. I know what God told me. And I'm going to keep doing it. Verses like the Quran 17:53 and 148 highlight the importance of speaking kindly, avoiding slander, and speaking the truth. 2:254 emphasizes that it's not for creation to question Allah's decisions, because Allah knows better. Why? In a better position, can see the whole story, just like we say with God. It requires the believers to surrender to Allah's will, which is a message of faith and surrender to divine authority. You see how we doing the same thing, but we fighting over a title? Because that's what they do. They separate us. Let me tell you something. When all of Africa decided they're going to be a continent of Africa and quit being separated by the colonization and the imperialism, it's going to be some danger. You hear me? When Kenya to decide to get with the young man that's the military, I can't say his name properly. I do not want to mess up his name. I'm going to say Mufasa, because that's what I think of when I say his name. And Ghana, you know what y'all be doing. Y'all would take over the world. Do you hear me? It'll be like our own Wakanda. I'm just saying. It's time to get them up out y'all country. Because the only thing they doing is taking y'all stuff. And y'all got all the raw materials. You got all the raw materials. Only thing you got to do now is, and you got all them people with all them degrees. Only thing you got to do is come up with a way to make the devices that you need instead of worrying about Europe and America taking care of you. Become self-sufficient. Our ancestors were. What's stopping you?